Hey guys, Incap24 coming back with another play out of the single back wing formation. And we're going to be looking at the play called Close PA Cross. I really like this play because it's one that we can go ahead and try to go for a one-play touchdown over the top for cover 4. Really keeps your opponent honest, especially because it looks like it's going to be a run formation with everybody kind of close and compressed. Let's take a look at it and show you how we can beat all coverages with this setup. Now, if you look over here, the X receiver does a really good job of beating cover 4 over the top. However, I really feel like it's more consistent when you smart route it when you're doing 1st and 10. Okay, I can do this throw. Typically speaking, it's going to be kind of tight. If I roll to the right, I have better success. But when I go ahead and smart route it, I feel like I have much better splits when it comes to being able to beat the player over the top. So I'm going to show you both. But the only other thing you want to do is put this A on and out. So right now, I'm not going to smart route it. I want to show you this on a cover 4 beater. So I'm just going to carry out my fake. And I'm going to stay in the pocket a little bit, and you're going to see that I'm going to kind of throw it over the top, and you're going to be able to have that one-play touchdown. So that's without smart routing it. Now, if you have any issues with it, I feel the smart route does a little bit better in my mind when it's 1st and 10, okay? So here we go. We're going to carry out the fake, and you're going to see that we're going to have this ability to kind of just touch it over the top, and you can see how much difference the free safety did not follow him when it's smart routed. And that's usually the player that's going to be the toughest one. This is McCourty over here that we're going against. By smart routing it, it really looks like he passes him off to the other zone a lot quicker in the way it works. And because of the crossing route with the B, and when you smart route it, those players are a lot closer in distance when it comes to the middle of the field when they go ahead and crisscross, where that's where I believe why that guy goes ahead and gives up on that X receiver. So that's kind of why I want to make sure you know that you definitely want to smart route it when you got 1st and 10, but it does work both ways, okay? Now, on cover 4, that's going to be your main threat. Now, what you can also do against cover 4 is go ahead and hit this A really, really quickly on the outside. And you can see that he's going to be open right over there. And you're going to have a nice, easy throw there. And then you can also work the underneath over the top with the levels concept with the RB and the B. Typically speaking, the A does get covered underneath. He's all caught up there. And that player does do a good job of adjusting, but you can definitely throw it over his head. The way I'm going against right now, I'm going against the 3-4 drop show 2, so there's 2 hook zones. So you're going to see that there's going to be a little bit better coverage when it comes to dropping 8, but I wanted to show it to you here at a 3-4, because typically on a 1 running back 2 tight end set, you're going to get a 3-4 alignment, and this being the most popular cover 4, I want to make sure we showed you against this. So you definitely have a couple options here. Your first one's going to go with the X over the top, but your progression really should be A first, and then the RBB, and then the X over the top as far as the cover 4. So let's go ahead and take a look at cover 3 now. So let's go ahead and look at cover 3. You're going to see here I got the curl flats out there, and typically speaking, with the curl flats, my first read with all coverages is going to be this A receiver, and I typically will throw it against curl flats because it's a good 5-yard gain. I'm going to get 5 to 7 after he goes ahead and turns the corner. Just quick, easy read. I'm always looking at the safeties to see if one goes ahead and drops back in coverage, one goes down. If I see that right away, then I know that I'm not going to go for the cover 4 bomb. I'm just going to go ahead and dump it off to the A receiver. So here you go. One goes down, one goes up. You're going to throw this A receiver, and you get yourself a good 5 to 7 yards. Real simple read, real easy connection, something that you should definitely, just go ahead and take the yards when you have it. Now, secondly here, if you miss that read, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the RB. Okay, so the RB is going to be the second one that goes underneath. Now, typically speaking, you can hit this B if you have a little bit more speed, but what ends up happening with cover 3 a lot is this middle linebacker on the left-hand side on the hook curl will go ahead and kind of man activate on him because there's no other routes here to kind of get him involved. Once we go ahead and the tight end goes to the right, and once we get the X to kind of clear up, the RB kind of gets out of his zone. He's going to kind of go ahead and follow the B through the routes. So if you have someone who's fast, you can outthrow him, but I just want to make sure you know where it's going here. So here's the thing. You're going to see that the RB is going to be your second option. You're going to be able to just kind of throw it to him for a good 5-6 yards. Typically that curl flat's going to back up to give you that option to go throw it to him. And then your last option here on cover 3 is definitely going to be this B receiver. But I typically want to make sure that he's got some speed, and you'll see what I mean here in a second, because what's going to happen is that guy's going to follow him, and you're going to have to kind of throw it over his head. So here we go. Looks like he's open. See how that guy goes ahead and follows him, and you kind of want to throw it behind him. So it looks like it's going to be open originally, and then the guy goes ahead and follows back on him just because of the route combination. Let me show it to you here. And this is just against the cover 3 sky. This is a 3-4 alignment, and you're going to see here that one player, it's going to go down. And then as soon as you see that he's going up, see 52, he actually goes ahead, okay, that's my zone, and he goes plays a retreat. So you want to be sure that even though you have him here, and typically speaking, you can kind of throw it to him, as he goes across here. But if you want to wait for him to go across the field, you're going to see that that 52 is going to be somebody you're going to have to overthrow his head with a nice easy completion. So I want to make sure you know and should expect on a cover 3 situation that there may be a player that in a hook zone is going to be able to want to follow back. So that's basically cover 3 curl flats. So let's go ahead and look at cloud flats out of the cover 3 here and show you what we're going to do. Now the A is going to be your first option each time. You're going to see that the guy's not going to really make a big play on it. He's kind of just backing up a little bit. And you're going to get yourself a good 5 to 7 yards, just like you did against cover 3 curl flats. Now, the second option is, typically speaking, you're going to get the option to have the B route a little bit more against cloud flats, because with the cloud flats, they play down a little bit more than they play up. And then the B does get a little bit better option. So you can see, can I get to the RB? No, no, no. See how that guy falls back? But with cloud flats, he doesn't seem to mirror that player. He does on curl flats, but not on cloud flats. So something to know. So you're going to get that guy a little bit more open when it comes to that. So that's basically how you would handle the cover 3. If you have a single high safety like we have now where they're not base aligned, I like to sneak it in also to this X receiver, but don't do this if it's base aligned, because if it's base aligned, that player is going to play it a lot better. But if he's a single high safety and his reaction is to go back first, not from a baseline spot where he's going to be more on the left hash, you're going to be able to cut off the play action and then kind of throw this quick throw right here. Okay, so if you see a single high safety, whether it's man coverage or whether it's cover 3, you can definitely know that when you go ahead and use the smart route, you can definitely go ahead, cut off the play action, and kind of get that quick throw, kind of like you would do on a halfback wheel play at a split close. So that's how we handle this play against cover 3. Now let's look against cover 2. So against cover 2, what you're going to see is that A is going to be that first route each time. He's our first read, always our first read. We're going to be able to throw it to him. He got a little bit bumped off his route that time, but you can definitely see how he still got open. Now, your secondary route is usually going to be this B receiver. And if you watch how he goes ahead and does his route, you're going to be able to see how he crosses the end. Now, I want to make sure you see something in cover 2. And the reason why that wasn't very open that time, and I want to make sure you see it, and why he's going to be open in the future when you play somebody is something very unique. So in cover 2, you're going to see that this left player on the cornerback is going to man activate, because he's the only route on that side, and it goes vertically, and there's no threats in his way by the time he wants to go ahead and cover him. Now, when he goes ahead and man activates, you're going to be able to see that you're going to have the opportunity to throw it to this B receiver as he crosses the field. Typically, people will not follow the B when it goes to cover 2 because they're worried about the middle of the field when it comes to splitting the safety. So their responsibility is, if I see any type of post from left-hand side, I need to cover the middle of the field. They typically will not recognize that their own player is man activated and he leaves the B open. So to simulate that, I'm just going to take this A receiver and I'll put him on man coverage on this X receiver. Or I can just go ahead and put him on the middle third. Maybe that'll be an easier way of showing it. And if that's the case, what you'll see here is once you have the A, that's the first receiver, you're going to see that this B receiver is going to be able to throw it past these players because your user's not going to go ahead and cover him. It's just one of those things that just happens when it comes to the game because of your own principles when it comes to cover 2, and knowing that in this game of Madden 18, that if you don't cover the middle of the field, it's a nice easy throw for the splitting of the safeties. So man coverage here is going to be actually a little bit easier to beat. You're going to have pretty much the A as your first route, but you're really looking at the RBB. And you'll see here that once you go through here, RB does a nice easy cut. We're going to be good to go. Nobody's going to be on him a lot of times because they're crossing their man up a little bit here. They tend to get a little, when they see these routes, because the A goes to the right and the RB goes underneath, they tend to have a little bit of a shifting of their two players. By the time that happens, the RB really does a good job of beating his man. You can see how it is. They don't know which player is whose. Obviously, that time I got some nasty black shed, but you can see when it comes to it, look at the two players here. The player that's supposed to be covering RB is actually going to be above him, but when A goes to the outside, typically speaking, they're going to go ahead and kind of change their routes, and you can see how that's a nice easy throw. And then additionally, the crossing pattern against man coverage is a nice option as well for you. And typically speaking, you're going to want to get a faster player in there. If I was to use the Falcons, I would definitely be using Taylor Gabriel in this spot because it's a 2 wide receiver set rather than Sanu. But you can definitely see that Sanu will do just as fine. So that's how this play breaks down, guys. Really nice cover 4 beater over the top. Definitely doubles up as a nice dink and dunk system where you also have the levels concept on the crosses. Appreciate it. We'll come back with some more plays later. Thank you.